In the work that we've been doing with larger individuals, we've seen a lot of different transfers taking someone from a wheelchair into a pacer. And some I think are a little more strenuous than others. And we actually did see a transfer that took 5 people one time. And it took one person standing in front of the pacer, 2 on the sides, and the 2 on the sides would support the individual, typically under the arms. They would bring the person up to the pacer. The person in front would give the bear hug. And the other 2, their job was to hold the hip prompt and have it ready. And as soon as the person was brought up, they would bring it up and hook it to help take the weight. So the people that were doing this had such a strong desire to get these larger adults into the pacer because they knew that it was going to be so beneficial, but it was just such a strenuous transfer. We saw some sites then try to use gait belts to help, but again, it was still a lot of strain on everyone. And so the difference with the solo lift is that that's a non-issue. It absolutely isn't a problem anymore. And the exciting thing is that the learner is in control. The person's in control when they're being assisted. They can have their feet on the ground, and the solo lift will help them actually come in that nose over toes, standing up position and learn how to do a transition, learn how to go from sit to stand, as opposed to being picked up and moved as if they, just were a stationary object.
They're learning new skills. They're getting the benefits of weight bearing, so we're improving bone health, and they're strengthening the muscles as they move through sit to stand. So it's much more beyond just a transfer device. Right. Mm-hmm. It's really rehabilitating and teaching skills.
And there really isn't anything else out there that offers this opportunity.
Another implication of this new zero lift policy is that individuals aren't going to be lifted at all. They're going to become more sedentary, left in certain areas of the building. Their world's going to shrink. It's not going to be as easy for them to be moved from one place to another. So not just the caregivers, but the fact that the individuals are going to be left in one area or one position or in a wheelchair or on a mat.
Even the equipment that's out there, the lifts that are out there that are being used with the zero lift policy take effort from the caregiver. Mm-hmm. They are still having to really use some strength to support the person even as they're being hoisted in a different lift. And so this could really be a reason for people to think that maybe the individual shouldn't be moved at all. But that can't be the option. We can't have that as the answer, because what then is the possibility? So we really have to look at a new way of doing things. We have to look at new possibilities.
So we have to make sure that zero lift to protect the caregiver doesn't have a negative impact upon the client. And I think that's where the solo lift can come in with a zero lift policy.
Because it really can address that. It can address the zero lift because it's so easy for the caregiver to use that. And we've seen a lot of people use it by themselves. Sometimes with a larger individual, they might want one other person standing there just for security, but one person can actually help an individual do a transfer. And it can even be an individual who is not able to take any weight on their feet, because the solo lift will allow you to help someone transfer in a more sitting position. Ideally, it would be great to have the person put their feet to the floor and learn the skills of transitioning, because I think that the only other option is for the individual to get weaker, to gain more weight, to lose more skills, and then to be transferred less and less. And so going to a zero lift policy really has to be something that we look at from both the perspective of the caregiver as well as from the client. As excited as I am about the solo lift, I really think that maybe the word lift isn't really the right word for that, because it's really more than lifting. It's more than a lift. It really is I think, a teaching tool. It's something that you can actually use not only to help transition or transfer a person, but it's something that you can use to actually teach them new skills. And we have seen that happen. And we have seen people, when they have the opportunity to get their feet on the floor, begin to take their weight, and then have the chance to get into some of the other equipment like a pacer, they really begin to develop skills. So it really becomes a tool to reach new skills.
It does. And things that we weren't able to address before without this type of a product, sitting to standing transitions. Individuals were placed in position without participating in that natural nose over toes, sit to stand transition, and the opposite movement that's just as important, a stand to sit. Pivoting, taking steps backward. Most lifting happens with individuals when you're moving them backwards into their wheelchair again. So the fact that they can learn to take steps back to actively seat themselves is another major breakthrough using the solo lift.
We have seen individuals who have foot deformities that make it very difficult for them. They can't put their feet on the ground and take their weight, but they really do benefit from being upright and supported in a pacer. And they begin to stretch their legs out. We've seen individuals become more actively engaged in what's going on. They're more excited about being upright. People are interacting better with them, but it's hard to get them into the pacer. But see, with the solo lift, even if an individual cannot take any weight on their feet, they can be transported into a pacer, because this is the only device that's out there that I think can really allow you to put someone into a front-loading piece of equipment, into a pacer in that way.
It's easily adjustable to use with multiple clients, so that's a cost saver right there.
And you're only using it for a few minutes with the person, and then it's free and available to go to the next individual.
Right. And the fact that you're going to make better use of your other pieces of equipment, it's going to be easier to get individuals in and out of your pacers. It's certainly going to be more efficient use of staff time, where it's taken 3, 4, or 5 individuals to wait until you have that many people together to transfer someone versus having the solo lift in one person.
And then imagine the cost savings when you're not having to deal with worker injury, and you're not having to look at the cost of insurance. And then just simply not having the concern that your staff is being injured on the job. We certainly don't want to be creating a new population of individuals that have physical challenges because they've been caregivers. So this is something that really is worth every penny.
Oh, yes. I think that what physical therapists need to know about the solo lift is, first of all, the comfort and the security of the solo vest, how that just facilitates so many other movements. So you start with that comfortable, secure vest, and then you move towards skills and participation, and those are those transition and weight-bearing movements. Those are probably the 2 biggest things that are very meaningful to physical therapists. Not only am I getting my patient in weight-bearing beneficial positions, but is it comfortable for them? And the solo...
And safe.
And safe.